So, what if I told you that you could manage your money using the exact same framework as the world's wealthiest people? That's what we're going to break down today. A super simple system you can apply no matter what your income is. Let's dive right in. This quote right here, this gets to the absolute core of what separates the 1% from literally everyone else. It all boils down to one powerful concept: ownership. And the data tells the whole story. I mean, just look at this breakdown of the world's richest people. 75%, they're entrepreneurs. They own businesses. 15% are investors. They own assets. Even the inheritors, they own trusts. The common thread, the secret sauce, is ownership. And notice who's missing from this chart? People who only have a job. So why do so many of us feel stuck? Well, it's because the system is kind of designed to keep us on a hamster wheel. You know the one. You get paid, you spend it all just to live, and then you're counting the days until your next paycheck. It feels like freedom, but really there's just no breathing room to build actual wealth and become an owner yourself.
This is so important. You could be making a great salary and still be completely broke. Get this. Over 60% of Americans who make more than 100 grand a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. So the big takeaway here is, it's not about how much money you make, it's about the system you have for managing it.
And that system is what we're calling the 25-15-50-10 rule. It's a simple but really powerful way to tell every single dollar where to go. We're going to walk through each piece: your growth, your stability, your essentials, and, of course, your rewards. Okay, let's kick things off with that first 25%. This is your money-making money. This is the portion that you put to work for you. So instead of spending it, you use it to buy assets, things that grow in value over time. It's like having a little army of dollar bills building your wealth in the background while you're busy living your life. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have enough to start investing. But listen, waiting is the most expensive mistake you can possibly make. To show you why, let me tell you a quick story about two guys, Billy and Phil. Billy starts investing at 20, just $200 a month. Phil, he waits till he's 30, but he tries to catch up by investing more, $300 a month. So who do you think comes out on top? All right, let's do the math. Over 40 years, Billy puts in a total of $96,000. That's a solid amount for sure. But here's the kicker. Phil actually invests more money in total, $108,000 over his 30 years. So Phil has to end up with more money, right? Not even close. Thanks to the absolute magic of compound growth, Billy's investment snowballs into over $1.2 million. He invested less cash, but ended up with almost $600,000 more than Phil. And why? All because he started 10 years earlier. That's why starting now, even with a small amount, is everything. So where should you put this growth money? Well, think of it like a scale of risk. You want to start by building a really solid foundation with safer stuff, like index funds. That basically lets you own a tiny piece of the entire stock market. Once you have that base, then you can start exploring things with higher risk and, higher potential reward. But always start from the bottom up. Okay, next up, the 15% for your stability. This is your life happens fund. This is the money that keeps you in the game when things go wrong. And trust me, I learned this the hard way. When I was 18, I bought this old VW Golf with a loan, thought I was the coolest guy on the planet, and then the engine completely blew up. I had zero backup, no safety net, and that one car problem set me back financially for a whole year. So here's how you build a fund that makes you financially bulletproof. Step 1. Figure out what your essential living expenses are for 1 month, then multiply that by 5. That's your target number. Step 2. Store it in a high-yield savings account. It has to be easy to get to, totally safe from any market swings, but still earning some interest. And finally, step 3. Automate it. Set up automatic transfers and make a promise to yourself that if you use any of it, you replace it ASAP. All right, now for the biggest slice of the pie, 50% for your essentials. This is the money that keeps the lights on and food on the table. But the big danger here is something called lifestyle creep. You know how it is? You get a raise and suddenly that daily latte or designer shirt starts feeling like an essential. But really, it's just feeding your ego. I had this friend back in the day who always looked rich. I'm talking designer shirts, fancy watches, the whole deal. I was the total opposite, just wearing basic stuff. But here's what nobody saw. He was drowning in credit card debt, while I was quietly putting every spare dollar into my investments. The lesson is, true wealth is the designer stuff you don't buy. It's the money working for you that no one else can see. And this slide? This is exactly it. What you see on the outside can hide a completely different reality. The goal isn't to look rich, it's to actually be rich. And being rich means owning assets that grow, not just showing off liabilities that shrink. So, let's be honest with ourselves. What's a real essential? Your rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, getting to work? Yep, those count. But the takeout you order 3 times a week, that gym membership you haven't used since January, all those streaming services you forgot you were paying for? It's time to be ruthless. Go through your bank statements, and if it isn't helping you live, work, or stay healthy, it's probably got to go.
Let's face it, willpower is fickle. It's not reliable. So instead of relying on it, just use this simple 3-question system. First, is this an impulse buy? If it is, just wait 7 days. I promise you, the urge will probably vanish. Second, are you buying this for the logo on it or for the actual value it gives you? Always chase quality, not brand names. And finally, ask yourself, is this purchase genuinely going to make my life better, or am I just bored? Being intentional is the whole game.
And at last, we get to the really fun part, the final 10%. This is your reward money. And listen, this is not an afterthought. It's a deliberate, strategic part of the plan. This is the money that keeps you sane and makes this whole thing sustainable for the long run. The psychology behind this is so important. A crazy 92% of people who try these super intense saving plans end up totally overspending later. And why? Because a financial plan that has zero joy in it just feels like punishment. This 10% is your strategic cheat meal. It's the release valve that keeps you from blowing up all your hard work. And you should spend this money completely guilt-free, especially on things that actually add value to your life. A vacation isn't just an expense, it's an investment in your mental health. Hobbies keep you passionate and interesting. Experiences with friends build your network. And buying gifts for people you love strengthens your most important bonds. To make this super practical, set up a totally separate bank account. Call it your joy jar or whatever you want. Set up an automatic transfer for 10% of your income to go into it. The rule is dead simple. When the money's gone, it's gone. You wait till next month. It forces you to be creative and really prioritize what brings you the most happiness. So, that's it. That's the complete system. This is so much more than just a budget. It's a blueprint for shifting your entire mindset from being a consumer to becoming an owner. It's about taking back control and finally making your money work for you instead of the other way around. So let's recap the framework one last time. 25% of your income goes to growth, buying those assets that are going to build your future. 15% goes to stability, your shield against whatever life throws at you. 50% covers your true essentials, and a guilt-free 10% is for rewards, making sure the journey is actually enjoyable. You now have the exact financial blueprint that the 1% uses. It's simple, it's effective, and it works no matter how much you make. So the only real question left is, are you ready to start acting like an owner?